the course of where this country is heading?
Well, it's like this. You know, America, it served its purpose for us for a while. We made a lot of shekels here. We made a lot of interest off the shekels. But we can get cheaper labor in China. We can get cheaper labor in India. Why should we pay the white race goyim here in America any money when we can make a better deal over there? It's all about shekels. It's all about shekels. It's all about shekels.
I want to get into that about shekels and interest and everything, and this is very interesting that you bring it up because...
Well, we're really all over the world, but yeah, I guess you could say this, but our God is Lucifer.
Your God is gold.
Well, that's what we like, is lots of gold, lots of shekels, some American Express cards. We like to spend, we like to have a good time. We let the goyim do the work, and we have a party.
Oh, in other words, free foreign aid, free housing, free food, and you just let the other races be your goyim cattle slaves. Is this correct?
That's what they want, so we let them be that.
And this is what's coming and planned in this country, too, isn't it, the United States?
Well, this country here, we're going to brown this country up. We're bringing all the Mexicans and all the Hispanics across the border. They're interbreeding, especially with a lot of the white women, the shiksas, as we call them. And they're interbreeding with them. Pretty soon there won't be a white race, so they'll be all brown.
And you are a race, aren't you?
Well, some say we're a race, some say we're a religion.
Yeah, well, what do you say?
We're a little of each.
I can imagine, yeah. Now, I want to get into some hard topics.
Never told a lie in the history of the world. However, you could say that, but even when we lie, we tell the truth.
This is very ironic because... And now that you brought up the goyim, let's talk about that. In other words, the goyim, correct me if I'm wrong, I know you will. Rabbi Finkelstein, a goyim is classified as cattle or an animal. Is this correct?
Well, they are cattle, because we're
all set up to gain, as a monetary gain. Wouldn't you agree?
It's the greatest game in the world to make some shekels.
Now, let me ask you this. There's so much things being talked about.
He's a good goyim.
He's a good goyim.
Well, who counts? But once in a while, you got to thin out the herd. When you own the herd, you got to thin out the herd.
I see. That's the philosophy of making money and staying alive and staying ahead. Is this right?
Over there, we got the white goyim fighting the goyim, and they're killing each other. And we're making a lot of money, and we get the oil, and we get the interest. The most important thing is the interest on all the shekels that we loan both sides.
You mean usury?
That's right. You call it usury.
Now, there's a book out that you read, Rabbi Finkelstein, called the Talmud. It's been a real bad problem in our country right now. There's a lot of outsourcing of jobs and deindustrialization of this country. The seven banking families that took over control of the money in America in 1913 was the Rothschilds of London, Israel Schiff of Italy, Kuhn and Loeb of Germany, the Warburgs of Hamburg, Lehman Brothers of New York, Goldman Sachs of New York, and the Rockefellers of New York. A lot of people, they don't realize and know that these seven families actually control all the money and have controlled the money in this country since 1913. I know you're aware of this.
Right.
Now, in doing so, that makes a pretty big purse, doesn't it?
Listen, the goyim are the schleppers. They do all the work. That's what they want to do. They want to work. They always want jobs, so we give them jobs to work. Don't work. We interbreed with all the good-looking women in every country we go into. All the good-looking women, all they care about is we buy them a few diamonds. Not that they're worth anything. We mark that industry up real big. If the truth be known, we have so many diamonds that if we ever turn loose the diamonds we have, you can buy them for the same price as a dozen roses. But the women, they like the diamonds. They like the furs. So we give them the diamonds and the furs. And we make an appointment with them, and we have sex with them, and Sometimes we marry them. It doesn't matter because when we want to divorce her, she's not going to make any shekels, but she can try.
Let me ask you this. This is very interesting.
So I made a few shekels.
Well, in the United States, you know, there's a lot of white people like me, of European ancestry, who don't really know what's going on. What's going on either. They're going to be cannon fodder too, aren't they?
There's a few at the bottom that don't go to the synagogue and they don't know, but they know, they hear that, you know, at parties we discuss it, you know, how we're going to wipe out the white race, them wipe out each other and make a lot of money. That's pretty smart.
I know.
And eventually we'll get all the rest of the countries around the world, they'll wipe each other out because us are the smartest people in the world, and we have always said down through the ages, we want a world of our own. And we're going to get it, and there's nothing any of the Goyim cattle are going to do to stop it. L'chaim.
So you see, where do the blacks fit in? I know that you use them. What's going to be their end when this is all over?
Well, the Schwarzes, if the truth be known, came here with our father Lucifer 75,000 years ago. All the Schwarzes, What can you say? You know, they got a good time step. They dance good. A couple of them can sing. They make some nice barbecue. And they're real good for selling drugs, too, because they all love the drugs. And we make a lot of money off of selling the drugs. You do know that we control all the drug world and have since Rothschild got the opium wars in China going. We've been controlling the drugs ever since that. We let a few in here and there to make some money, and they get arrested and they go off to jail for that. But we make the big money. We're the wholesalers. We're the wholesalers of everything in the world.
You know, it's very interesting. You should bring that. The people know that their standard of living is it's not meticulously being destroyed now. It's coming by chunks. It's coming by large gouges at this time. Total industrial plants, automotive plants, are being shut down. 1,500 to 3,000 in a plant are losing their livelihood. It's just a matter of time, isn't there?
Well, of course. But all they really ever had anyway, once you give up working for yourself and you work for somebody else, you're a slave to that person. What you're doing is actually, he's not paying you money, but all the labor that you're doing, you're giving him a piece of the action. And when you give him a piece of the action, you're making him the rich guy, not you. So all we let them do is make a subsistence living. They could never afford to buy a house on their own. We got to give them a payment plan. Of course, we do them a favor, and so we collect a little interest for that, about 3 houses for every one that we sell them. But you have to be in business for yourself. If you're not in business for yourself, then you never have a chance to make any money. You're going to be a working stiff, a slave, a serf. You're a schlepper. And we wrote most of the law, not us necessarily, but we pay our goyim in Washington, D.C., the Democrats and the Republicans. They sit around and we have them write up laws. We tell them what to do. They put it on the paper. We don't actually even do the work.
But, you know, the masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, you know, in the meantime, we have a lot of fun.
But, you know, there's quite an awakening coming. And,
well, that's true, but it's not for you Goyim to know. But right now it's too late. It's over for you white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? You don't get a lot of followers, do they? Because you know why? They're scared. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property. And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them drugs, and we make a lot of money off your children. Your children from cradle to grave. All we do is make money off of them. Your cattle, your goyim, the human cattle. Mazel tov.
You know, it's interesting. Yes,
and even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's your problem.
You know, I've got a question, and I yes, it is a problem. But you see,
we would want to infiltrate and take over of you goyim, obviously, would be the churches. So we attacked them first, and we attacked them most. And we infiltrated the Catholic Church right from the very beginning. Why do you think the Pope and all the cardinals and the bishops wear a yarmulke? The white race never figures this out. And so then we took all your books that had all your scriptures in there, and we burned them. And then we wrote them in Latin so that you couldn't understand them, educated. But you, goyim out there, you never teach yourself. You don't self-teach. You're always looking for somebody else to do it for you. So you wind up being schleppers all your life. It's all about shekels. It's all about shekels. It's the greatest game in the world to make some shekels.